more specifically the 320D. And I must start off by saying it's definitely been a welcome transition from Wolfsburg to Munich. As you all know, I drive a 1.2 TSI Polo, and moving to the 320D has definitely come with a lot of benefits, but as I'll take you through the rest of the video. Ownership of this car, I'd say it's bittersweet, but I think it's more sweet than bitter. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, I think the first question would be, do I still believe this is a natural successor to VW Polo? Of course. I personally am enticed at this point in time, but yeah, that will come at a later stage. And but the questions become, what's the big fuss with the BMW, specifically the 3 Series, or in this case the 320D? I think number one, I feel the 320D it's a well-balanced car. You have a good balance between performance and efficiency. You're looking at 140 kilowatts and I think about 400 Newton meters of torque, and that's enough to give you a good punch when required. But if you want to cruise, the car is fairly comfortable. And the one thing I like about this car specifically, because I've driven the C-Class before, I've driven the A4, and one thing that I got from this that I wasn't getting from the others, it's the level of adjustability in the seats. I mean, with the other cars, you feel like you're sitting on a crate of beers simply because the seat is far, it's way off the ground. Whereas with this one, especially given my height, again, I've definitely been able to find the ideal driving position. And like I said before, in terms of economy, depending on how you drive, of course, you can easily get 1,000 liters of a tank. And if you want to go, you can go. BMW claims a top speed of 250. I have not seen that because the driving limit, the speed limit in SA is 120. But I can assure you, this car goes. Maintenance, I know a lot of people have a lot of concerns because, as you all know, premium brands usually come with the high maintenance basket. But with this one, you'll be surprised. This car is done well over 200,000 kilometers. The engine has not been opened, no issue with the gearbox. And as with any other car, any issues is your typical wear and tear. Brakes, tires, and of course suspension components. But besides that, I think this is a great car. But of course, not all is great. There are some drawbacks, and those come in the form of typical wear and tear parts. Tires in this car, oh my goodness, you got shit brakes in sharp corners because they run flats. You're looking at 255, 40, 18 inch. They go anything from 4,500 to 5,000. If you really want to go premium, you can even go as high as 6,000 rand per tire. It's quite a lot. Don't be fooled. And if you're looking at 19 inch, that's a whole lot more. So tires on this car, you definitely need to ensure that you have it back in a row, because it's not an expense that you can easily brush off. You'll definitely feel it. You'll definitely hit your pockets. Brake pads, I don't really think they'll set you back that much, because people need to realize that you have OEM, which is original equipment manufacturer, and then you have OE, which is original equipment. BMW is not in the business of making brakes. They're in the business of making cars. So you can actually go for aftermarket parts. There's a lot of companies that specialize in brake pads. You can easily get them there, have them fitted, and still get very good performance from them. And your car will still stop, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. And not affecting your car's performance in any way, shape, or form. So I think that's a route that we can opt to take. And once your car reaches the sort of mileage that I'm looking at here, it's always great to have an extended warranty, extended maintenance plan, so that in the event that you do have a serious mechanical breakdown, you know you'll be covered. But like I said, I haven't experienced any huge issues for the months that I've had this car, and even the owner has not experienced any huge mechanical breakdowns. So overall impressions with the BMW 320D, I would say, getting one, I think you should definitely go for it. But remember, it comes at the price tag. Obviously, you need to pay for getting the car, and you'll probably pay a bit more to keep it running, because in the event that something does go wrong, you're probably looking at a very hefty bill. But the likelihood of something going wrong is very low. I'm not saying something will not go wrong. It could go wrong. Your case may be different from my case. I know there are people who have had or have owned most reliable cars, but they'll tell you that this went wrong, that went wrong. So, but when I look at the greater majority, I'm definitely saying this is not a car that will give you issues. So yeah. So, other thing that I may not have mentioned, well, I may have mentioned it in passing, it's comfort. And this not only speaks to the way the car feels on the road, but it also speaks to the seats. I think there's a nice bucket seats that offer great little support, and I mean you'll need it in a car like this. And then the other thing that sort of annoys me is the bong that comes. I think most BMW owners will know it. This bong comes with everything. If you haven't fastened your seatbelt or fastened your seatbelt, there's a gong that comes. If there's a huge engine problem, it's the same gong. So I call it the gong of anxiety, because every time it comes on I get very anxious, because it could mean anything from cold temperatures to a tire that's probably due for replacement to, you know, it's a whole host of things. And this obviously attract different attention, especially from a financial point of view. So I think that's the one thing that annoys the hell out of me. But other than that, there's not really much that I can complain about. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed this car, and the suspension is not too hard, it's not too firm. I think with the 3 driving modes, you have Eco Pro, you have Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, which will obviously give you dynamic traction control. And yeah, it launches quite well, and it still keeps pulling. Look, it's not firecracking launch that you get from this car, but it's definitely a respectable launch. So yeah, I think you definitely won't be disappointed when getting yourself this car, especially if you're looking for something that's performance oriented. The good thing about this car is not fire breathing monster that you would expect in something like a BMW, not a BMW. Obviously, if you don't get this, you're probably looking at something like a Golf GTI, and I know people will be looking at putting in aftermarket exhausts with the D-Cat and all of that. But in this, you know, I think it's a lot more mature. But if you want to let the kid out of you, just put it into Sport or Sport Plus mode, and then you can go.
So yeah, I did a shot where I did a quick walk around what I call the F30 320D with a bit of flair. So I'll just start out front. So up front we have M3 style bumper with gloss black details and some white details. Well, at the bottom there had a bit of a mishap with that lip. It was actually a 3-piece lip, but you can see now it's a 2-piece lip. And as you get closer, you have the unmistakable Angel LED daytime running lights. And I'll just come a bit closer and I'll show you this kidney grille, because you can see there's also been some changes to this kidney grille, because you can see it's a dual slat, and it's actually also an M3 style dual slat kidney grille. Also had to change that because the original, yeah, had a bit of an issue there. And then as we move on to the side, you can see you have a black decal that's running from the front fender all the way to the rear fender. And up front there we have diamond cut wheels, 18-inch, sitting on 225/40 18-inch tires. And at the bottom there you also have an M Performance decal. It's looking quite neat. And then at the bottom you have 18-inch wheels as well, but this ones are sitting on 255/40 18-inch tires. And as you're just walking across, you can see there are very clean lines on the side of this car. I think exterior aesthetics are just out of this world. It's a great looking car on the outside. And then as you get closer, Just at the bottom there, you can see you have rear PDC, and of course you have the unmistakable 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged exhaust note that's coming out there. And as you get a bit closer, you can see you have a nice ducktail spoiler there. And of course, car talk with Kurume, rear lights looking ever so wonderful. And as we move on to the other side, I think the trend pretty much continues. And the one thing I must just point out with this 320D is that it's the M Sport. You can see you have aggressive rear bumpers there. And yeah, I mean, of course, if you just get a bit closer, something that I forgot to actually highlight on the other side, it's the door mirrors. You can see you have also M3 style door mirrors there. And now I'll be taking you through the interior quickly, which is, I'd say, a subject of great contention, because a lot of people complain about BMWs from this era, about the fact that they all look the same. But I'll take you through the interior and I'll tell you why I think that wasn't such a bad idea. So what are my overall impressions of 320D F30 ownership? I definitely think it's a car that will not disappoint. I think if you're good to it, it will be good to you. But there's just a few things you need to be cognizant of. The maintenance cost can be a bit crazy if you don't ensure that you are covered properly. I think an extended warranty, it's definitely a go. Don't make that mistake of going at it and hoping for the best. I think the best thing you can do for yourself, ensure that you get an extended warranty that will cover you in the event of a critical mechanical breakdown. But when it comes to your typical wear and tear, I think perhaps you should consider original manufacturer instead of going straight to the OEM, because effectively what they are is just a middleman. Remember, most of these car brands are not in the business of making car parts. They're in the business of making cars. So you go to an OEM and you buy brakes, you go to an OEM and you buy wipers, you're definitely going to pay an arm and a leg. But are you going to get lower quality or poor quality part if you go elsewhere? I definitely don't think so. Just need to ensure that you go to reputable on your original manufacturer, and you should get what you're looking for. Tires, there's no two ways about that one. You're definitely looking at a very, very hefty bill in the event that you have to change them. But then again, you can also look at getting your tire and rim cover, but that obviously covers you in the event of damage. They wear out eventually, and that's something that you cannot run away from. But overall impressions, I think it's a car that was greatly built. From a mechanical point of view, I think it's a solid car. Engine, gearbox, everything, it just works well. So works so well together. But of course, suspension, it will go, and when it does go, expect your mountings to give you issues, your control arm bushes and all of that. And once you go over the 100,000 kilometer mark, or well over 150, like in this case, you are definitely looking at having to replace those components, and you're looking at about 10 to 15 grand, including labor. But other than that, I think this is a car that will be very good to you. Overall impressions of the F30 320D, mooi gebouw, mooi gepleister. Until next time, it's Kurume signing out.